So yeah, we hear stories like that. Lots of similar stories about equity and pay, and it's almost like, Matt, right now, like with salaries and stuff, even in the business world, it's a common, men make more money than women do on each dollar. Okay, the women's pay has gone up, but it's the same like that in coaching.
As of 1994, female college athletes were still only receiving about a third of all available scholarship money, and a fourth of all college sports budgets were allocated for women's sports.
Clearly they get less publicity. But remember, when we're talking about sports, professional sports, even college sports, even high school sports, it's an entertainment industry, right?
Yep.
And so where's the bigger draw? The bigger draw is in men's sports.
Occasions when there are co-ed competitions, I believe that the men or the boys would not include the girls by passing to them. Or out of 5 passes, they might give 1 pass to a female who is open. So in there, I think there's some things that you have to be careful.
According to 2000 and 2001 figures, men's college programs still maintain significant advantages over women's. In average scholarships at 60.5%, operating expenses at 64.5%, recruiting expenses at 68.2%, and head coaching salaries at 59.5%.
Men coaches, but our coaches were very instrumental. I found out, and this is after the fact, when I graduated college and I came back and visited my coaches and became good friends with them, they had to do a lot of struggling. They got, say, $500 for coaching a team, and these numbers are very skewed, so, okay? And the men, to do the same thing, and the same team, would get $2,000, okay? And the same thing with the practicing schedules. The girls would have practice at 6 o'clock at night, the boys would have it at 4 o'clock. The girls would play their games on the field that the grass was 5 inches thick. The boys would play on the field that the grass was only 2 inches thick. We did always complain and argue about the uniform issue, and they were the most ugliest things around. I know at Fieldston we take 5 years to get new uniforms, and but we had them longer, and you had them for 4 seasons in a year. So that was really pretty disgusting, and that needed to change. So we tried to push that.
Okay.
Oh, another thing that happened that was inequitable. I always remember that we had a booster club, and all the money from the booster club always, for some reason, mysteriously, it went to the boys. Like, the boys would get new sweatshirts or new, warm-ups or something, and we would like, where are they getting that from? And that's, that was an unequitable thing. So yes, so we get on the bus. Our athletic director comes up. And he gives us, he's like, we come back, we ended up coming and being 5th in the nation. Okay? And this was not the NCAA. They had a women's counterpart, the AAW, and then the next year they went to the NCAA. But he gave us, that's not a bad thing, coming out and representing your school. We got a bag of apples from the apple orchard. He comes onto the bus and says, good job, girls, you did really fine. Okay? Then, like, the soccer team, they went to the first round of their thing, and they ended up being, say, like 20th in the country, or 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Great job, guys. What did the boys get? The boys got rings, the boys got this, they got that. So
and what did you get? You just got
we got a bag of apples.
You just got a bag of apples.
During the first 2 weeks of basketball tryouts and preseason, I sit here in my office, I look out the window, and every day the boys' team was out there practicing and doing tryouts. And I just said, oh, okay. Now, most people wouldn't think anything of that. The girls were in the lower gym, and the boys were up here. So someone who was knowledgeable in Title IX and being equitable, that should have been rotated. One day the girls should be up, down, and it should not matter how many players are trying out for the girls' teams or the boys' teams, okay? And someone said, well, I asked the coach, he wanted to be down there, but the coach of the girls' team is a male, so he would not even understand those. But if you give the girls the opportunity to be up here, then that equity is going to be learned, and people will understand it to a little bit better level. So, in the boys' locker room, there is a large area. There's like another locker room in the locker room.
Yeah.
The girls, we have a closet that you can't put anything in. So we talked about that when they were putting this building, and we wanted to make sure that there was of size big enough. Now, if I wanted to bring up a Title IX suit, I probably could, because there is an inequity in that, those little silly things.
Interspecies competition, or intraspecies competition rather, sorry, and it was usually males competing for the attention of females.
Right.
You know, so the same reason why peacocks have large feathers and peahens don't, and why male, you know, ram their heads together and the females don't, that has led to the evolution of sports in humans. And so this is why men compete in sports more traditionally than women do, and it also means why sports have evolved to fit males' physical attributes. You know,
Right.
sports have evolved to be involving physical contact, where greater strength, greater speed is advantageous. And there's sexual dimorphism in humans. I mean, if you're walking down the street and somebody's approaching you, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know whether it's a man or a woman, right? There's sexual dimorphism. There's, you know, in general, because remember, there's going to be diversity within each sex, but in general, men tend to have more testosterone, which leads to more muscle mass, which means that they're stronger, faster, etc. Things that may allow them to do better at the majority of sports that people tend to go through. Oh, I think absolutely yes. You know, again, there's always this continuum, and there's going to be an overlap between males and females in terms of, you know, muscle mass, coordination, all kinds of things, right? So there's certainly some women who could compete, you know, in professional football, professional basketball, right? The same level as a man. And should they be allowed? Sure, why not? In my mind, she should absolutely be allowed to play there. Again, it's an entertainment industry, so you know there's plenty of actors out there, and some actors apparently are very good, and they get to act on Broadway, and those shows bring in a lot of money, and those actors get paid a lot of money.
Right.
Other actors aren't quite so good, so they're in off Broadway or off Broadway or in like community shows, don't bring in a lot of money, and they don't get paid a lot of money for it.
Okay.
So it's just like the NBA and the WNBA. People tend to want to watch the higher skill level, which tends to be in the men's league. But maybe we shouldn't call it the men's league. Maybe we should be calling it, you know, A league, B league, C league, whatever.
Right.
And it's open to anybody.
Whoever?
Yeah.
Okay.